All right, I now bring on Nick Canonica. He's Tierra Wax creative director and photographer. Nick, thanks for coming on. Just start by kind of painting a picture for people. What exactly you do? What does it mean to be a creative director?
Yeah, me and Tierra have a real personal relationship. I'm always there for Tierra to help her develop her ideas and bring them to life. So, besides being just her photographer, I'll help direct other shoots that she does and make sure everything aligns, design, album artwork, single artwork, and her merch as well.
So, as a creative director for a recording artist, you kind of have to like align your thought process with her vision, or do you also kind of guide her and tell her what looks good, what works, and what's kind of being going to be attention grabbing?
A lot of creative directors in the industry definitely have to do a lot more directing than I actually do. I'm a creative person, but Tierra is a creative person as well. So working with her is completely different than other artists. So she kind of brings the ideas to me, and then we'll go back and forth. But things kind of like usually birth in her head. So there's a lot of the creative juices just coming from her.
Now, how did you like? Where's your background in all this? How did you kind of develop your skills?
My background is I just kind of grew up loving holding a camera, just always taking videos of my friends and my family. So I just always loved being behind a lens and kind of just telling a story. So I'm really into storytelling, and then working with like other photographers in college and stuff, I kind of just started developing kind of like a passion for it. And just being creative growing up as an only child, I would just always kind of just mess around and find things to do by myself. So I think that kind of made me into it. I never really took any classes on it.
That's awesome. So it's kind of like a natural talent that you have. Now, did you graduate from Temple University?
No, but I went to Temple. I still have a few more classes, but as I started traveling, I couldn't really devote myself completely. So I want to make sure when I do, I finish them all right and don't skip any classes.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. And right now, it doesn't seem like you. I mean, you don't need a degree for what you're doing. This is kind of something that worked out for you. Can you just talk about like the definition of success changed for you at all? Because there's a lot of people at your age right now. How old are you?
I'm 23.
So there's a lot of people at your age, whether they're freshly out of college or just in working world, they're creating resumes, they're applying for jobs, and like you're at the beginning of your career too, but it's just completely different than what a lot of other people do. So has that definition of success kind of changed for you?
Yeah, I feel like the definition of success is always changing for me. It's like it changed from a week ago, honestly. Different, things. I also think success means different things to different people. So, what's success for me might not be success for somebody else. And this is just kind of like always something that I just kind of knew that I kind of wanted to do, as far as, how I want to live each day. So I'm on my own schedule, which I really like and enjoy. And some of that is success, and then other aspects of success I definitely have to still reach.
So what kind of things do you wish to reach for? What kind of are your goals right now?
Um, my goals are to continue doing what I do at the best of my ability, and honestly, just kind of make a name for myself in the industry, because I don't know, just provide a different perspective on a lot of things. I think that visuals are becoming a lot more important in the music industry, and just branching off as myself and, becoming, more of a developed artist. There's a lot of personal goals that I have through all this too. So, it's kind of just like being the best me, so I can be the best me for other people.
Absolutely. And you say you have a close relationship with Tierra. So how did you become friends with Tierra?
Yeah, we met like way back through a mutual friend when I was in college at like a back backstage at a show, I believe, and we just kind of like we felt each other's energy at the time, and then we would message each other back and forth a little bit, and it would always be like, yeah, we should hang out, take some pics, and then eventually when we finally did, we just kept doing it and just kept like developing from there. It was real organic.
So can you talk about some of that growth? Honestly, only a few months ago when I found out that you were Tierra Whack's creative director, I thought that was awesome, and you were surprised that me and my roommate both even knew who Tierra Whack was, and were so into her and stuff like that. But it seems like her growth is kind of coming fast. Can you start talk about that growth and where it kind of comes from?
Yeah, her growth is, I mean, it's definitely just due to like a lot of her patience. She doesn't put things out there unless she's sure of them, and she works really hard on what she does. And um, a lot of like the growth that we saw from last year till now, it's just crazy. So it kind of teaches us that it's not really like a linear process. You work hard on something and you focus on it and you perfect it, and then you put it out rather than just putting out whatever the first thing. So many people are so impulsive and impatient these days, especially artists, which I understand. So it's really like on her as an artist to be both real creative and have all these ideas, but yet at the same time know when the perfect timing is for everything. And I think that led to like the growth mostly.
She really tries to be like creative. I mean, it's like the shirt you said, weird, hype, and creative. Like, is that who she really is? Is she kind of that different creative person?
Yeah. That's exactly who she is. She's like exactly herself. So when people meet her, it's like you're meeting the exact person that you thought you would. And she's really just like weird, hype, and creative, honestly. And she's still a kid at heart.
That's awesome, and I feel like the general population in Philadelphia really knows her. She's from Philadelphia, but I also feel like within the music industry, she's so well respected more than just her popularity is. Like, is that true that like within the music industry, people know her and respect her more than maybe some artists do at this stage?
Yeah, I mean, just seeing firsthand, I mean, being with her, like a lot of times I'll just, I'll see the way that people in the industry look at her, and they really know, that the potential that she has. I see a lot of like big artists reaching out, and it's crazy because some people, will overlook it, but like the people at the top, they really do know, and she's just so smart. She built such a like strong team around her to where she's able to navigate the industry the right way.
You talk about that strong team. You're a part of that strong team, and it just seemed like you said the visuals are so important now, and all the music videos that you guys put out, they're all like really attention grabbing. I mean, do you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you're a part of something different there? That she's really doing something different? That you're really doing something different? And how high is that ceiling?
Yeah, always, because it's not just making music with her. It's not just putting out music to put out music and get listens. She really, really cares about the art, and I think our whole entire team, not just me, but like our manager, DJ, like everybody down to like makeup artists and stylists, like they all care about the details and want everything to be perfect, and they do execute it perfectly, which is like why I think it's definitely a lot deeper than the music. It's really just about changing the way people perceive the music, and I think that's what Whack Worlds did a lot, especially in the age of social media with the 1 minute videos.
Definitely. Can you talk about that Whack World album and just kind of where that idea came from with the 1 minute videos, the 1 minute songs, and were they ever meant to be longer at any point?
Yeah, no, I don't believe they were ever meant to be longer. But Tierra herself actually just came up with those ideas, and as far as like the team around her, we were all able to take those ideas and bring them to life and execute it. But As far as the actual ideas, everything starts in a notebook with her, and she'll just start drawing, or she'll come up with ideas. And the WAP world, I believe the 1 minute videos were also all her ideas. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
She kind of knew, because she firsthand has ADD, and she has a short attention span. So what she was putting out wasn't even just for the people. I feel like it was also for her.
Wow. No, that's very interesting. Now, getting into the cover art some of this cover art that you design, like what goes into that? Like, how do you come up with those ideas? Sometimes they can seem like maybe they're simple. Like Gloria looks like it's just like a green sponge. I mean, maybe it's not so simple to think of that, but like then some of them, the actual picture is more complex.
Yeah, it depends. The way Tierra and I work is just sending ideas back and forth through text message. So I knew she'd like that one for Gloria, but I tried to focus, I always try to focus on simplicity in my work, and especially for things like album covers, allowing room for interpretation. So it's just a green sponge. I took the photo in the hotel, I sent it to her, and that was that. If there's a music video, the cover art might tend to be more cohesive with that. So.
Okay. Now, Tierra just performed at Coachella a couple weeks ago. Talk about what you guys did there. I know you had some merchandise, and did you also hand out or did you sell disposable cameras? Is that true at Coachella?
Well, we didn't sell them. We actually just gave them out. We announced that we had them, and then we set up a meeting spot, and fans were able to come grab them before her set, which was really cool. But they were themed like the merch, so they were customized. And Coachella was a real cool experience because of that. We have like so much film.
So why hand out disposable cameras? Just talk about what that idea came from.
I think the idea was more, we collaborated with a brand in New York called Manual, and we kind of just wanted to get more of like a fan's perspective on the show and allow them to hold in their hand, actual device besides their phone and take some photos. And they were actually able to send them in, and we developed them for them, and they got to see the photos after and whatnot, and maybe even use them on our website a little bit.
That's awesome. Really getting like the crowd involved. I love that. And now, gotta talk about, you were at the Grammys a few months ago. The Mumbo Jumbo music video was nominated for Best Music Video. Just talk about your experience at the Grammys.
Yeah, I mean, we were just like, proud of her. It's just kind of like a very rewarding experience to just be a part of her team, honestly. And it's besides rewarding, it's also very like reaffirming, for an artist that early on in her career to get a nomination is just like incredible. So it was like kind of just like a sign that what we're doing, we're on the right path. We're executing things properly as we should be, obviously. It's very rewarding.
Now you talk about how much the team and Tierra cares about like the art, but do you ever think? Right. Do you consciously think about going into creating music video? Do you consciously think, is this gonna win a Grammy? Like, how can we win a Grammy?
No, I don't think any of us ever really think about that. Honestly, I don't think she even knew about the Grammy nomination until she like woke up to her like mom telling her. I don't think anything honestly beyond like what we're doing in the moment is never really in our heads, and that's the truth. It's like just focusing on making what we're making, and then if it happens to get a Grammy, then or a nomination, then it does. So that was like definitely a surprise, but
Definitely. I mean, that's really an awesome, even for you at your stage of your career to be. Now, now being a part of her team, do you consider yourself a Grammy nominated creative director? Can you say that?
Yeah, I could technically, find a way to say that as my name, but she really, it's like, we're just proud to like be a part of her team. Honestly, it's really humbling, and I mean, I could throw it in there if I wanted to, but.
All right, now I've got one you may not have an answer for this. I'm not sure, but Donald Glover wasn't at the Grammys. He was also nominated and won the Grammy for Best Music Video. I believe, just based off of Instagram, that Donald Glover was with Tierra Whack the night before. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I think it is. Where was he? Do you have an answer?
I don't. But you know, whatever's out there is out there. No comment on that.
Fair enough. And I think that maybe it should have gone to the runner-up at that point. Tierra Whack could have won it, but hey, that's neither here nor there. Now,
yeah, I agree.
There you go. Now, I just thought it was funny. Maybe a week ago or so, you guys were traveling, whether you were in Europe or whatever. I think you were in Spain, and there was someone in the crowd that looked exactly like you. Can you just talk about what happened there? Like, who pointed that out?
I think Tierra just stopped in the middle of her song and said, "You look like my photographer." And it's funny, just, she's always pointing out people, like when we're just driving or, hanging out, that she thinks looks like me. So it was just funny to see that she stopped the song and it was on stage. So it was kind of like an inside joke, but at the same time, the crowd kind of got it, because I guess he did kind of look like me.
So did the kid realize what was happening?
No, I don't think the kid realized what was happening, and I think her DJ Zach was also pointing somebody out that looked like me, but that was somebody different. So it was like a mess, and then she just got right back on track.
That's so funny. It seems like I guess maybe everybody looks like you. I'm not sure, but that's awesome, man. Now, where does it go from here? Like, is there anything that you want to talk about like what's coming up or where you want your career to go? Do you feel like it's gonna kind of parallel and you're gonna continue to grow with Tierra Whack, or what do you want out of your career?
Yeah, I mean, I hope to continue to grow with her, and then I also hope to continue to grow personally, like with myself. I have like a lot of, I studied entrepreneurship in school, so I have like some business in my blood that, I really like. And I also I'm a artist too, so I'm always, work with different creative outlets, and a lot of times they merge with Tierra, and then sometimes they may not. So, we still have our own, separate paths, but I'm just lucky to work alongside her as well. Yeah.
Absolutely, and you've got a great career going your way. I'm going to give you 20 seconds, whatever. If you want to tell people where to follow you, where to look up your work, anything like that, you can feel free to.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Save Nick.
All right, Save Nick. That was Nick Canonica. Nick, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, of course. Thanks for having me.
So that was Nick Canonica. He continues to grow in his career and continues to help Tierra Whack grow as an artist as well. A couple of things I didn't get to talk to him about, some of his merchandise that he's designed for Tierra. The I Was Adopted by Tierra Whack shirts and the Weird Hype and Creative Kids shirts. And those are on Tierra's merchandise website as well as at Urban Outfitters. So that's pretty cool as well. It's funny because I hung out with Nick a couple times at Temple through some friends, and one time he was just playing a Tierra Whack song, and I was like, oh, cool, I like Tierra Whack. Like, I just thought that it was cool that he was playing her song, and he let me know that he was like, oh, yeah, I'm her creative director, and I was like, oh, you're a lot cooler than just another fan of Tierra Whack. So that's how I figured that out. It was kind of funny, but listen, this was one of the coolest interviews I've had on this podcast so far. If you liked it, let me know. And tell your friends, because, this is going to continue to build from here. We're going to continue to get interviews like that on the show. And feel free to let me know what you think and tell your friends as well, because I will be right back here. You are listening to The Creative Flow, and you'll be hearing from me same place or maybe a different place, depending where you're listening to me. And maybe not the same time either. But I'll be back, and you'll have another interview like this next week. Thanks for listening.